Those are true. Names that are legendary. StockLegends.com.
Hello, good day traders, StockLegends.com. Today we're looking at AXCG for April 30th, 2012. We are looking at a daily chart. This goes back a few months. You can see not a lot of trading activity here, sporadically bouncing between about 2 cents and 13 to 20 cents if we go back a little bit farther. But you can see relatively very light volume, not a lot of activity going on. So we start to see some volume come in near the mid of March, and it really starts to set the stock off into a directional trend. We had a nice upward trend when the volume came in, trading at low of 5.5 cents all the way up to a high of 21 cents. We had a nice run here, and we drew a straight trend line along all of our low points, and we can see once we broke below the trend support line, that signaled the end of the upward move after we hit our recent high of 21 cents. Now you can see that we had a reversal once the support trend was broken, so this should have been your exit opportunity to make sure you took some profits. And you can see the stock had a nice pullback, pretty much back to where we were at the lows. We came down to the 4-cent level. Now what we can also see regarding the momentum indicators we are used to looking at, we've got the MACD here, which can generally give us momentum indicators. When they're moving up, it suggests an upward trend. When they're moving down, it suggests a negative trend. But what we have here is a crossover point right around maybe the 10th or 11th of April. And you can see if we look straight up, actually I'll just draw a vertical line here. You can see that it was a little bit of a delayed signal here. Basically the cross down point happened about 3 or 4 days after the actual trend line broke. So we're getting a little bit of a delayed signal here with the MACD. So we should expect something similar again in the upward trend. But what we do notice is that the histogram bars started to trend downwards here. I'm going to grab a little trend line, and we're going to look here. This histogram was moving in negative territory, so that could have been something to look for, maybe a bit of a risk if you were to hold at that particular point. So we did see a pullback here, and once we built a support, we can see we had a double bottom. Now in technical analysis, the double bottom usually suggests the support is in. It's usually a strong bottom and suggests we're going to see an upward move thereafter. You can see that for the first time we came down to a low point, and after a brief rally we came down and held it a second time. So that tells you support's in. We also saw a lot of volume come in at the support line. That's also another indicator that suggests that a bottom's in. So what we had at this point was a breakout. Now if we take a look at all of our high points, we look at our resistance line. Something else I'm going to talk about is an exhaustion gap. Now an exhaustion gap is where you establish your trend line. Usually when you move above that resistance trend line, it suggests the stock's going to run in the opposite direction. We call it a breakout. In this particular case, the stock gapped over the resistance line. The opening point was right here, right around 11 cents, and it actually ended up closing down here below the resistance line. And the next day was confirmation as it moved lower that this was not a breakout. So we discount this pretty much altogether, and we actually look for where we close above the resistance trend line, which is right around here. So this was our breakout point. We've had a day or two since then of upward movement, but you can still see it's early on in the upward trend. You can see that the MACD has not even crossed over yet. Remember, we're looking at probably a little bit of a delayed signal in this sort of instance. As we got a delayed sell signal, we're also probably going to get delayed buy signal when these cross over. But we do see the histogram bars moving up, which is positive. We see relatively strong volume here as well, which is also positive. So we should see the stock continue to move up. You can see the RSI just bounced off 30, suggesting it was an oversold territory. Previously well overbought here when it peaked at 90. So we could look at an RSI around 90 again to give us another overbought signal. Currently it's at 44, still relatively overbought considering the means probably around 60. So we are still below average here. Low risk entry. I think it's a great opportunity for our traders to make profits. So thanks very much for watching. Be sure to stop by StockLegends.com, sign up for a newsletter, and also text Legends to 411-247 to subscribe to our email alerts. Thanks very much and happy trading.